Okay, so this is the continuation of the topic on cell membrane. Okay, so as I have said earlier, the protein has the greatest amount in the membrane. So it is typically about 50% of the volume. Okay, so it is important because uh, of its biological functions. Okay, so protein has three types. No? So we have the integral proteins, or also known as the transmembrane proteins. The second one is the lipid anchored proteins, and the third one is the peripheral proteins. Okay, so integral proteins or the transmembrane proteins span the membrane and have a hydrophilic systolic domain which interacts with the internal molecules. Then a hydrophobic membrane spanning domain that anchors it within the cell membrane, and a hydrophilic extracellular domain that interacts with the external molecules. So this consists of one, multiple, or a combination of alpha helices and beta sheet protein motifs. So example of integral proteins are we have ion channels, protein pumps, G protein coupled receptor. Okay, so another type of protein is the lipid anchored protein. It is covalently bound to single or multiple lipid molecules. Okay, so hydrophobically insert into the cell membrane and anchor the protein. The protein itself is not in contact, no, with the membrane. Example for this is the G proteins. No? This is the example of the lipid anchored proteins. Okay. Next is the peripheral proteins. This is attached to the integral membrane or integral membrane proteins, or associated with the peripheral regions of the lipid bilayer. So these proteins tend to have only temporary interactions with biological membrane, and once reacted, the molecule dissociates, no, to carry on its work in the cytoplasm. Example of peripheral proteins are some enzymes and some hormones. Okay, so there is a model of how the cell membrane looks like. Okay, so we have the fluid mosaic model that is developed by J. Singer and Nicholson. Okay, so they replaced the earlier model of Dobson and Danieli, uh, wherein the biological membrane can be considered a two-dimensional liquid in which a lipid molecules diffuse more or less easily. So, although yung lipid bilayers that forms the basis of the membranes do indeed that forms two dimensional liquids by themselves. So the plasma membrane also contains the large quantity of proteins, provides more structure. Okay, so the membrane is described as lipid bilayer. Okay, so the cell membrane consists of the hydrophilic head, which is the uh, polar head that interacts with water. Okay, and it's usually found in the exterior or the extracellular space or in the exterior of the cell. And then we also have this hydrophobic tail. Okay, they are the non-polar and does not interact with water molecules, and they are usually attached to fatty acids, no, fatty acids, and they are usually non-polar. Okay, so these the interactions of these um, hydrophobic are the major forces in the formation of the lipid bilayer. Okay, so this continuous spherical lipid bilayer, the hydrophobic interactions, also known as the hydrophobic effect, contributes, no, in the formation of the lipid bilayer. Okay, so this is the same illustration of the cell membrane. Okay, so this is the extracellular fluid and the cytoplasm below. Okay, so this is in the cell membrane, you can uh, see the different parts of the cell membrane. Okay, so this is the glycolipid, this is the protein channel, this is the globular protein, and then we also have the peripheral protein. Okay, and example for this peripheral protein as mentioned earlier is the uh, enzymes and some enzymes and hormone. Okay, then the integral protein are the one, okay, that span in the membrane. Okay, it has also this tail, so interacts with the hydrophobic part and the hydrophilic tail. Okay, so and then we also have the surface protein, the alpha helix protein. So it is of several classes of protein or integral protein. Okay, so this is how the hydro uh, this is how the phospholipid bilayer looks like. Okay,